Welcome back to Kevin Pollak's Chat Show. I am, as always, Chat Show. How the hell are you? I'm going to wait for an answer. Oh, thanks. Good to hear from you, as always. I'm going to read one or two of your fan mails today. Don't think I won't. I've asked you to write to us at kpcsfanmail@gmail.com. That's kpcsfanmail@gmail.com. And damn it, some of you have. In fact, I'm going to say far too many, so back off. Sammy and Jamie not here today because they don't care about you. And you need to deal with that. You need to wrap your brain around it. I believe it's fair to say that Jamie's at Disneyland. I'm just going to take that guess. We're coming to you live from the Earwolf Studios in Hollywood, California. As I've said before, if you're in the neighborhood, stop on by. We'd love to meet you and show you around. For those of you who give a good goddamn about something called The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, the show received 14 Emmy nominations, which will be winning and losing Monday, September 17th. So good luck to us and congratulations to all the nominees. For it has been written, I believe, in the Book of Revelations, better to be nominated than not at all. And lastly, on the Maisel front, we've just finished shooting, we're finishing this week, Season 2 finale. So yes, people have been yelling on the social media about when the fuck the next season is dropping. And I can promise you it'll be in your homes before that fat, jolly son of a bitch, Mr. S. Claus. I can also share that this Season 2 will honestly and sincerely, I didn't write that part down, sincerely exceed expectations. And I say that as a fan, also as a fan that hates everything, including most of what I've done. Let's get to your quick fan mail before we introduce our guest, who's been sitting here unbelievably patient. He was now thinking, wow, I was kind of speeding to get here, and now this. Speaking of now this, Kevin loved the book, especially the story about your first Tonight Show appearance. Is that video available anywhere? Signed, Jim Ellison. I don't think so. Hi, Kevin. First off, I want to say I'm doing all right. I thank you for always asking, how am I doing, and making it sound like you're at least 60% sincere in doing so. Not everyone takes the time every week to do so. It sounds like he fell asleep when he was writing that. In your biz, it's obvious and expected that a large number of your friends, colleagues, and other associates are performers, entertainers, and content creators in general. It seems that you do your very best to keep up with each of them and what they're producing, the TV shows, the movies, the podcasts, the stand-up performance. How on earth do you find the time? I imagine your non-working hours are utterly consumed by your consumption of this entertainment. Consumed by consumption. You're not wrong. Anyway, please keep doing whatever it is you do so I can keep doing the same. Wait a second. Please keep doing whatever it is you do. It sounds like you you just got done commenting as if you have a pretty good finger on the pulse of what it is I'm doing, and now you throw that to the wind. Oh, man, that doesn't seem right. But you follow it with keep doing whatever it is you do so I can keep doing the same. Now it sounds like you've got your own sign-off. And to that I say, yes. Love the show. Big hello to Jamie and Sam, both spelled correctly, which is not easy to do, so thank you for that. Tell Sam I love his substitute interviews just as much as yours. Fuck you, I will not tell him that. That is from Phil Mendola, because that's a name. Returning to these microphones, yeah, sure, is one of my all-time favorites. Now, I've got a list of 74. I'm not going to tell you where he falls in that list.
Oh, I'm solid.
You are
13 or 14.
Yeah, easy in the top 15.
We start with Titus Welliver.
Sure.
I know how this goes. Right?
Yep. And we move on down the T's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Until we get to Tom. Thomas Lennon, ladies and Jews, bring your paws together. Thomas Lennon, if that's your real name. Was there ever... The crowd won't stop. Yep.
Hi, guys.
Was there ever
By guys,
time...
I mean Kevin, because do we address the kid? No.
What? Yeah, Sam. Yeah, no, Sam, everyone's favorite engineer, is right there.
Cool. I wasn't sure if we were supposed to. I went on a real goose chase getting to the studio today.
Yeah?
Because I thought it was on a different floor, because some
kind of is.
Funny so-and-so has put the words Earl Wolf...
In the elevator?
On the elevator button that also leads you to the floor called 2.
Yes.
Where I went and I met 2 nice young ladies. And they looked at me like, oh, this poor dim.
Yeah. Number 74 to have made this mistake.
So then I go to the other room.
Sure.
Then I had to pee, so I could run down the hallway behind you here.
74 yards.
What on earth is happening back there? There's the ghost of Chinese food.
That's right.
Lives back there.
Yeah, not good Chinese food, by the way.
Holy shit. There's somebody used to have Chinese food back there?
It's Chinese food in a baby's diaper.
It's Chinese food that got murdered. How does Chinese food get murdered?
Well,
in plain sight?
You found it.
Found it. Anyway, here we are. It's good to be back.
Tom Lennon, did you ever consider changing your name when you were a kid, thinking of a life in show business?
No, I never did.
It trips off the tongue pretty good.
It rolls off all right.
Yeah.
Although even I have a problem. Here's something weird that I've never addressed publicly, but this is why we do the Kevin Pollak Chat Show.
That's right.
I fought my whole life to not have a Chicago accent.
Yes.
So if you met a lot of the kids I grew up with, you would know I'm from Oak Park, Illinois.
Yes.
And even my relatives, a lot of people around there just kind of sound like that. And I didn't want to sound like that. So I tried really hard not to sound like that.
Uh-huh.
So
and how did you try?
I just imitated what fancy people sound like, which is the same thing my dad had done.
You didn't go the Bugsy Siegel route from Barry Levinson's movie and repeat all the five dwarfs doing handstands on the carpet?
I did not do that, no. But so my dad, who had Irish parents, I don't know where he got his accent from because all his brothers and sisters have strong Chicago accents. So he just started talking like this kind of fancy pants asshole that I talk like.
Ooh.
So we both sound like real snobs. But I have trouble sometimes pronouncing my last name when I'm speaking quickly.
Because it comes off from Chicago, you mean?
Yeah. Well, I just say Lennon.
Oh.
Lennon. I swallow it a little bit. And when I'm making phone resorvations and things, it ends up going.
They want to know why you're using a fake name that you've clearly made up on the spot.
I don't know, Tom Lennon.
Sorry, to say lemon.
It just disappears in the back of my throat a little bit. But
I have not ever heard of this problem.
I swallow it sometimes.
You may have created.
I mispronounce my own name just a little bit.
I think everyone has a term, a word, or a phrase that they can't say. Jamie, who you've met here before, her best friend can't say Saturday Night Live.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
She can't say those words together
it gets stumbled
without stumbling. Sam, do you have one of those, a word or a letter or a term that doesn't trip off so easily?
Commit.
There you go. I think there's some theory behind that.
Yeah.
My writing partner, Robert Ben Grant, one of the smartest people I've ever met, says candelabra.
That's right.
You know when you take a bunch of candles to the opera, you have a candelabra.
These are always funny.
Yeah.
By the way.
Never not fun.
Yeah. Someone was tweeting from Trump's latest rally yesterday.
He went to Montana.
Yeah, all the way.
I was just in Montana.
Were you?
There's nobody there, but they like Trump. It's a perfect storm of.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they were tweeting a recording of him trying to pronounce what was.
I saw it. It was magnificent. It's something pretty obvious.
It might even be the word obvious.
It was something like that. Good. It's so good.
Yeah.
Call in live. Call us now.
Sam, can you Google real quick?
It was amazing.
Donald Trump can't pronounce.
Was it evidently?
Close.
Obscure. Obfuscate? Roller skate.
Yeah. But the beautiful thing was, listen, we've all spoken live, and sometimes the words don't come out.
You'll say some weird stuff.
In fact, in the opening, when I was reading my remarks, I felt 2, possibly 3 words come out wrong. But he then tried to correct himself by repeating the same word.
Always the way.
And it came out worse the second time.
The trick is swing harder the next time.
Yeah, that is
You're guaranteed.
Yeah, you want to draw a big underline. Put it in italics on the second attempt.
It's great to live in a world also where for all of us, be it the president who has a lot of malapropisms, but where your mistakes are just Jesus Christ. I mean, like to have a typo with a tweet and a typo,
yes,
with a typo in it
of your own wife.
I just said a typo as I said it out loud, but there's the wall of people who can't wait to pounce on it. When it's come on, guys, you know,
even when he misspelled his wife's name in a tweet.
That was amazing, though.
It was truly amazing.
That one was a gift from the gods.
But that's absolutely dead Steve Jobs autocorrect.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had some amazing autocorrects lately.
The phone doesn't know Melania.
No,
it knows Melanie. Oh. But what I love is he's in the fearless leader, clearly, is so in a hurry to get the tweet out. He doesn't proofread.
Yeah.
Do
you still have the Twitter on your phone?
I have the Twitter on my phone.
Well, you know what I think is a pretty good idea? For long stretches of the year, I take Twitter off the phone.
Sure.
Just as a safety mechanism.
Put it in a little box.
It just take it off the phone so that you have to sit down at a typewriter
Oh, nice.
and log in
Nice.
like a human being.
Instead of while you're driving?
Instead of just any second being like, all birds should be, fuck Denny's. I hate every Denny's that ever, like, wait a second, guy. There is a problem. Everybody's saying every thought they ever had.
Yes. And now
We used to do this.
And now we've learned.
When I was a kid, here's what you would do.
Please.
You'd think weird shit, and then you'd quietly go upstairs with the Sears catalog and jerk off. And then nobody asked you what you thought. Nobody said what you thought.
Yes.
You didn't get to give reviews of anything.
Speaking of masturbatory ideas, under the heading of the question, what is your writing process, because who doesn't love that, I have an asterisk next to it being, please share your 3 most used procrastinations, and is masturbation number 1 or number 2?
Oh, no, it's nowhere of the above. You know what I do? You know I've got some serious writing to be done.
Oh, yes, yes.
When the house gets real tidy.
Yeah.
And I mean deep dives like... a deadline's looming if I'm digging around in the junk drawer in the kitchen.
Oh, man.
And I'm putting a rubber band around AA batteries.
Yeah, why
that are
shouldn't
loose.
these nails all be in the same size
That's right.
drawer?
We got loose batteries here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to marry all the batteries together by size.
Sure.
And then do rubber bands by color. Hey, Tom, aren't you supposed to be writing some shit? You must have something to do.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, what I'm going to do?
Yeah, chaos is our enemy.
I know, but
You got to remove the chaos.
I will start puttering
Yeah.
hard when I know that I should be writing.
Yeah. First, I want to say...
So tidying up and pointless organization.
Pointless.
Pointless organization.
Well, but there is a point. The point is to procrastinate.
The point is to not.
That is the point.
Yes.
In doing 9 seconds of research, I must say I enjoyed your my first time for Rolling Stone, the little video thing. I got a couple questions from it.
Sure.
Googling you leads to Thomas Lennon, gay ?
One of the biggest things you get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you didn't address it, or they edited out your addressing it. Would you like to use this opportunity to address?
Nope.
That is correct. That is the correct answer. Yeah, that's what I had down. Hopefully he says no.
No, but just look at me, and I seem so. I mean, from all the Lieutenant Dangle stuff, and then
Sure.
the only.
You're a well-dressed man.
You're going to the Emmys, I'm sure.
At most times, you're a well-dressed
the
man.
only award I've ever been nominated for, other than a couple Razzies, which I've lost, is Reno 911 got a GLAAD nomination at one point, and then me and Paul Rudd for Best Kiss for I Love You Man. So these are the only real awards I've been in contention for.
Right. And let's leave it at that.
So, it just.
This is not where your children should find out.
Yeah.
Because I know they're both big fans.
Yeah, big fans.
You also posed, this came through in the My First Time, a photo. It seemed like you were describing, in the photo, you set it up so that you were getting head from what
No, that's not
turned
true.
out to be the Quebec Prime Minister.
That's not true at all.
Okay, good.
This is overstated. Now, here's something really interesting.
Because I love this.
Do you look at Instagram ever?
Sure.
There is some of the most pornographic stuff on Instagram I've ever seen in my entire life.
That wasn't
And
intended to be?
No, it's all just people posting themselves. They're like, oh my God, I'm just licking ice cream off my boobs. What? Sunday fun day.
Yeah. How'd my dick get in there?
Well, it tends to be young starlets
Seemingly
are using it for, I think, paid promotional stuff of just like, this is my favorite kind of green juice, and I love it when I'm pulling my thongs super high up my butt. There's a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yes.
That stays up. I took one picture. It was me looking straight in a mirror in a Canadian hotel room.
Alrighty.
There's a TV in the mirror, and there's a little talking face down below because the TV's on. But I happen to be naked, and the guy's face just perfectly is blocking out my wang.
So you were looking into a mirror.
Yeah.
In the foreground of the shot is the TV.
Little talking head that happens to perfectly replace where my wiener is.
Right. What you wanted to do.
It just cracks. I stood there for a minute till I lined it up perfectly, and I'm like, this is just great.
Not knowing whose face it was on the TV.
Didn't know whose face this is. He's just talking blah, 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 some bullshit.
And who was it?
Gentleman is the Premier of Quebec.
I see.
And people thought it was some kind of political statement.
Well, clearly
you
you had staged it.
To me, it was just funny dude with a beard.
What is your problem with the Premier of Quebec?
Well, we don't. How much time do we have?
We have time.
How much time
In fact,
do we have?
those are all the rest of the questions.
First of all, we're going to go en français. Jusqu'à. Did you find that in Montreal? You've been in Montreal a lot.
I've been to Montreal.
Do you find the French Canadians get a tad brusque?
Yes. That's a very polite way to put it.
That's what I said, brusque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is, yeah.
Uh-huh.
They are brusque.
My theory is people think French people are rude.
Nope.
Because of Les Canadiens. Because of French Canadians.
Uh-huh.
Who actually are rude.
Brusque.
Go to Paris, people are a hoot.
Very friendly.
Just a hoot. Never
Yeah.
had anything but a hoot in Paris.
I think they're known for their hoots.
Yeah.
The
go
Parisians.
To Quebec City.
No
You're going to
hoots.
get some shrugs.
Yeah.
Je ne comprends pas. Je ne
Right.
comprends pas.
They're annoyed.
They're annoyed at us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I get it. I'm annoyed at us.
Yeah, well, for sure.
Yeah. We're annoying.
Oh, buddy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Imagine.
The wonderful C-minus students that make up this land of ours.
Imagine if you lived next to this country and you saw what was going on. In here.
Yeah. But
It's
also,
like, remember in the Roger Rabbit movie and they look over into Toontown?
Yes.
And it's just rockets and pianos being launched and that's what it looks like from Quebec City
Oh,
when you
please.
look at America.
please name at least one of your chapters of an upcoming book, Rockets and Pianos.
Rockets and pianos. To Canada, we're fucking Toontown.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's-
Don't go in there.
No. Nothing but chaos and trouble, and batteries being sorted and rubber banded. You also shared that the Duran Duran album Rio
Oh, yeah, sure.
was your first purchase,
First purchase. Yeah.
and then you went on to mostly create the instrumentals from that song beautifully. But my question is,
Sure.
what drove you to purchase that album? Who hipped you?
Two
to
things
Duran
about it.
Duran?
The Rio record, I think was it Hungry Like the Wolf was the one that came out? This
Sure.
is when hits used to hit us like a ton of bricks, people.
Yeah.
I mean, hits used to come down hard.
Yeah.
And there weren't as many outlets
Nope.
back in the day.
No.
There was 3 TV stations. You know, when Friday night videos came on,
Oh, buddy.
it was a very big deal for us.
Yeah.
And so I believe there was a video, the Hungry Like the Wolf video, which is one of these like sexy, they're out in the woods. It's sort of Indiana Jonesy.
Yep.
But it's also sort of a porno Indiana Jones. And
Which
they're crawling
is
around.
best kind of Indiana
Best
Jones.
kind of Indiana Jones. But boy, I thought Duran Duran was really cool.
Yeah. Did you ever stop to wonder or research why the proud of the name Duran they needed it twice?
Isn't it a character from Barbarella?
Of course.
It is.
Is it?
Right? Google it now, kids. I believe there's a character, the villain in Barbarella is named Duran Duran.
And that's where the name came
That's
from.
where the name came from.
Oh, man.
I got to say, there was something to album artwork when it used to be huge.
Right.
Was very enticing, and they used a Patrick Nagel painting, which is
Wow.
if you saw them, they're the most 80s looking portraits. They're these hot ladies, and they're always kind of brunettes.
Yeah.
They're always real pale,
Big hair.
big hair, and so that was very appealing to me.
Sure.
Like, I remember I also got the Rolling Stones. Was it Undercover record? Do you remember that one?
Was that the giant tongue coming out of the pants?
No, that I think is either Sticky Fingers.
Sticky Fingers. That's Sticky Fingers.
But the one that's literally was a naked lady and there were stickers on the cover of it.
Ah,
And we were like, you can't do that. That's illegal.
right.
This is illegal. Let's go get it as fast as we can. And I think when you peeled the stickers off, underneath there were other stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah, just as a giant FU to the whole world from the Rolling Stones.
Right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the Sears catalog.
Oh, yes.
Going back to that for a moment. Your son's 9.
My son is 9 years old.
What will be his Sears catalog, do you suppose?
Here's what's interesting. Somebody gave me as a gift, my friend Preston Trahan, who is from Chalmette, Louisiana.
That's correct.
Gave me as a gag birthday gift one year.
Uh-oh.
He gave me a Playboy from the month and year of my birth.
Fantastic.
What a
1970?
clever August 1970.
Holy.
Now, what was fascinating about this is, have you looked at a very, very old Playboy lately?
Buddy, that was my Sears catalog, and
It's so good-natured.
yes.
There is,
No, it's
like
topless,
usually
but
just
pants mowing the lawn.
yeah, but very sort of artsy-fartsy photos of pretty ladies. There's never a situation where there's like a bunch of penises out.
Not only no
Or-
penises, but there's no vaginal.
No, there's none of this.
Areas displayed.
There's nobody's on a bang bus.
Nope.
No one's...
No, literally mowing the lawn with a straw hat.
Sometimes they've met a bunny rabbit that they're petting. The
right.
end.
The end?
And then it's like no one comes in and like chokes them.
That's right.
It's just normal stuff.
And to the 12-year-old me, that was the most salacious
thing that could ever exist.
How is this happening?
I know. And now just like the normal, like go to TMZ, the right column on TMZ is 100 times, the regular website is 100 times dirtier than what Playboy was when I was a child.
Please don't go to TMZ.
Well, if you do, it's just all like, whose butt is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa, whose butt fell off?
So the answer is before your 9-year-old son wants to go looking for trouble.
That's what I was thinking about doing. I was thinking about doing a not so hide and seek, a very old timey, good natured stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. When there's actually there's whole poetry sections in Playboy.
And astonishing interviews with
great stuff.
Paul McCartney or Frank Sinatra or
But then the
Salvador
internet,
Dali.
If on the internet you go to the internet and you're like naked ladies, it's like great. Here's a naked lady being shot out of a cannon,
shitting into somebody's face.
What?
Yeah.
Why? When
Someone
did this
told me
happen? When did
quite
the
recently
wheel fall off?
That there's a not only a site dedicated to, but a growing fetish community of women farting on cakes. Sam, you want to look that up? I'm sorry to put that in your cachet, but women farting on cakes is a thing.
Of course it is. See, this is why we got to go.
But it's not for comedy purposes.
I believe you're referring to cake farts.
Sorry.
I'm aware of this.
Cake farts. Party at 2?
Why? What is does she enjoy it?
Well,
does somebody have the cake
I'm
later?
guessing they seem happy while farting on cakes. By the way, sitting on cakes is great. It sounds fantastic.
The first time I thought we had something we turned as a society.
Yeah.
We were sitting in the Reno 911 Rogers room, me and Ben and Carrie, and somehow came up on our screen. We went down a rabbit hole that led us to something called Smurf porn.
Hello.
Which is adult Italian man and a woman.
Italian?
Painted. I don't know why they're Italian. It's all in Italian.
Did the French know about this?
They're painted blue with Smurf hats.
Better believe it.
Having hardcore sex.
My friends.
Another Italian Smurf guy comes up and he's kind of like wants to jump in, and then it's suddenly 3 adult Italians painted as Smurfs.
Going
and
at it.
There's a valuable market for this, apparently.
Yeah, next the Blue Man Group.
Kevin, is this something you would like played?
No.
Just looked
No, we're audio only, so I think we've talked about it enough to send people to what it is you're looking at right now. But it's cake farts?
Yes.
Okay.
Load it up here if you need it.
How much is the members area? Is it 139?
It doesn't seem like you've paid a price, Sam. You're just in there watching it.
But wait a second. I feel like there's a lot of fraud in the cake farts world.
What kind of fraud are we talking about?
I feel like there's fake farts probably. How do I know?
Are they actually farting?
Yeah, I feel like they're making they got a cake in their mouth. They're going, that's what I would do. How much can you fart one day?
Is there not a cake bubble?
When the pressure's on.
Hello.
Go. We got members live watching.
And now, how would you say your music taste has evolved over the years since the early day of Duran Duran?
You know what's interesting?
Please.
When I was a kid, I think about the same age, I
got you by several.
Couple, but not much.
Over a dozen.
But I always thought that Bruce Springsteen was like a scary heavy metal band.
Wow.
I don't know why.
So this is a suburb outside of Chicago.
It was around outside of Chicago. And for some reason, we from Chicago we had no sense of Bruce Springsteen, but I'd heard the name. It sounded like a guy who's into death metal. I thought he was like Ozzy Osbourne. I don't know why.
I thought he was like a rabbinical student with that name.
I was just confused.
Sure.
So I never got into Bruce Springsteen until way, way, way later.
Okay.
And then
that took over?
And then Bruce Springsteen, for example, I used to be an obsessive Bob Dylan person.
Okay.
Probably saw Dylan 25 times live at least.
Starting in what year?
Starting in 1983, the first show I saw was he was on tour with Tom Petty.
Oh, man.
And I saw them in Alpine Valley, Wisconsin.
Oh, buddy.
And
lay.
And it was Tom Petty and Dylan. I was 13.
Between the two of them, it's a lot of nasal.
It's a lot of show.
Singing.
Yeah. The show was sponsored by Nasonex, actually. It was just a huge...
And why wouldn't it? Hey, now I feel better.
Call out your mucus.
Yeah. 25 live shows.
Sure, for sure. But then Dylan, it's not like going to see Prince.
Which was your favorite Dylan? Because there were several.
Probably the best Dylan I ever saw was the really early, like the 1983 Dylan. Mm-hmm. And then like later Dylan, you'd see Dylan and he would just say one, like the last show. I saw many shows where Dylan said nothing, ever. Just plays
To the
song.
audience.
Just like the night,
And then he just leaves at some point. Oh, my favorite was I saw Dylan one time. And he always thanks the opening act. And the opening act was Joan Osborne.
Sure.
And he was out on stage, the whole band. You can tell they're winding down. They're in that kind of vamping towards the end of the show.
He's like, I really want to, especially I want to thank give a big hand for, everybody put your hands together for, she was so great.
And then you can see like the bass players wandering over so across the stage trying to get to him.
Joan Osborne, everybody. Oh, yeah, that was lady, she was amazing. Never going to forget that.
No idea who was there, what was going on.
Oh, buddy.
Joan Osborne, everybody. Yeah.
Holy moly.
It was just fun to watch them. You ever watch somebody really go up on stage or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was.
It's exciting.
It is.
Yeah.
It's exciting when you realize such a pro.
Yeah.
That does not know where they are.
Yeah. I saw a guy go up on his lines opening night, Merchant of Venice in New York. Oh. Dustin Hoffman
Sure.
was in it. It was a heavy show. Guy comes running out. Pause longer than this. And then the other actor said, "Are you shot like an arrow from Cupid's bow?" And he's like, "I'm shot like an arrow from Cupid's bow, fella." It's hard in Shakespeare for somebody else to help you out.
And to work in the word fella.
Yeah.
Especially hard. Now, I feel we have something hot off the press
Yep.
for us to discuss that literally involves the press and of a literary note. What the hell is a Ronan Boyle, and where do I find this bridge of riddles?
This is very exciting, Kevin. So
It is.
I wrote a novel over the past year and a half.
Yeah, the fuck you did.
And it is sort of, I was always inspired. I was a big Douglas Adams fan as a kid, and
Okay.
all the Hitchhiker's Guide books, and a big Kurt Vonnegut fan. So I guess I like funny and weird.
And weird.
Weird
Sure.
and funny. So I was like, when am I going to write the funny, weird book? And so I did. And it's called Ronan Boyle and the Bridge of Riddles.
Inspired
Abrams.
also from the family being
Yeah,
Irish.
I was over in Ireland when I started writing it. And I was in this old castle, and I was looking up at the wall, and there's this giant wooden club on the wall. And the owner of the castle says to me, he says, "Oh, that's a shillelagh. That's a real shillelagh."
How
And I
big
was
is
like,
giant to you?
it could definitely kill you. The head of it was, this bigger than a softball, and then it was knotted and all the way down. It was a big, heavy cudgel.
Long.
Not that long, but deadly.
Heavy.
And he said, when Catholics couldn't carry metal weapons in Ireland, it was illegal. When they were under British control, you were not allowed to carry a metal weapon. So that's when
They made...
shillelaghs. So they started the sticks started getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I was like, "Oh, this is neat. I'm going to start with that." And it ends up the book is basically about it's a young intern in the Galway Police Department who gets recruited for the division that just deals with leprechauns, with
That's
the
right.
petty crimes of leprechauns, and leprechauns are just assholes. They'll change your baby for a log.
Yeah, this
They
is
just
something
do-
I wrote
yeah.
down, actually. When discussing the series of books that you'll now write, because you've sold
There's
a
going to be
series
three
of
of them.
three.
Yeah.
Specifically, your inspiration, you mentioned your fascination with leprechauns and their tricking humans, swapping babies for logs.
This is a big thing. That's what a changeling is,
No,
They would- yeah.
I don't know.
Leprechauns.
Please help me.
A lot of leprechaun history is whitewashed. There people say on St. Patrick's Day, you put shoes out and the leprechauns will put candy in them. But leprechauns from my growing up around a lot of Irish people, leprechauns are assholes.
They'll take the shoes.
They'll leave those shoes out. They're gone.
No candy in their place.
No,
either.
They steal stuff. They trick people. They're not going to give you gold.
No.
They're going to make you think you found some gold.
Yeah.
And they say, well, it's hidden in the rose under your backyard. Then you come out in the morning, they planted 1,000 roses out there. You'll never find it.
See?
You'll be dead.
But that's creatively cruel.
Yeah, they're creatively cruel. This is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But it's a fun series, and it's illustrated by a guy named John Hendricks, who's got a lot of cool books himself too. So he did all the drawings.
Did you find him, or did you find each other, or the publisher found him?
Write a book, you don't get to pick. Which is interesting.
Publisher tells you.
They just told me one day, and I was like, "Don't you mean you're asking me?" And
Yeah.
Nope. And it was very lucky that I happened to get somebody that I love.
Right.
Yeah. So I got a guy, John Hendricks, who's like just a genius, and his work is crazy good.
So you wrote the novel first.
Yeah. Wrote the novel.
Before pitching it to a publisher?
Didn't pitch it at all. Wrote the entire thing and then went out to
How long did it take?
about a little over a year.
Yeah. And you gave yourself
Door to
longer
door.
than that?
Yeah. But it was about
When did the batteries sorting
the battery sorting happens every once in a while. Battery sorting happens more during movie writing.
Yeah.
Like novel writing, I hate to say it, is kind of a joy.
Yeah.
Like it's like everything you want to do in writing. You know? And it's like
Well, it's the opposite of screenplay and TV because that's all about edit,
and fit in everybody's notes.
Yeah.
From that last meeting.
Oh, boy.
Oh, there's so many notes.
Oh, boy.
So many notes.
Yeah. But the novel seems like, how can I be more flowery in my description?
Not only that, make it longer, make it weirder, make it as,
Right.
My novels is my new thing. And by the way, when you write a novel, you then own the film rights to it, which
Hello.
is neat. So, guys, write some novels.
Yeah.
It's a delight. There's way less money in it up front,
Right.
but it's been a really satisfying thing.
You
to
made
do.
an investment in yourself and your future.
Yeah,
by
it's also
writing this.
probably just the happiest I've been in a long time.
How do your wife and kids feel about that?
I think they like it. I think they enjoy when Dad's
Happier?
not pulling his hair out on
Right.
Most studio movies, by the time a line that gets on screen
Right.
has been vetted by at least 8 or 9 people in most
And how many
studio
of
scenarios.
those 8 or 9 people do you actually respect their creative
Two.
opinion?
Two.
Two. You're,
Two.
you're comfortable saying
Two, there's 2 of them that are real smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's the other 6 who are pretty loud.
They've got fingers.
Yeah.
And they're
there's
pointing.
those other 6 that are also there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And do you subscribe in that world to the use as many of their notes as you can, pick the ones that you're going to fight battles on?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And let all the middle ones
Absolutely.
just filter in.
Yeah, make a big deal of all the stuff you do, and then quietly don't whitewash the stuff you don't do.
And do you find it's best
Mm-hmm.
to not even debate the things you didn't do, just don't do them and see if they notice it on the next
I
pass?
generally think it's best. Now, I should point out that almost no matter what you do, we have a choose your own adventure in our screenwriting book of all the different paths you can choose in screenwriting.
Right.
And at the end of all of them, you're fired. So it doesn't matter.
It all leads to the same place.
Absolutely doesn't matter. You're
Yeah.
going to get fired. I recently read.
I prefer the word replaced, by the way.
Ben and I read that we just got fired off of Cannonball Run. It was fun. There was a great
gonna
big
ask you
director
about-
got attached. It's very exciting.
Yeah, the director's great.
Yeah, yeah. And but it was fun to read because I got so many calls. People were like, "Oh my God, your movie's just got this huge director attached." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. It's really cool, right?" And I was like, "Did you read the end of that paragraph on Deadline that says that we're going to be replaced as soon as possible?"
Yeah.
It was like, why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the
They just
director...
had to also say.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we've read that we've been fired on Deadline at least 4 or 5 times.
that you weren't, in fact, fired.
No. Oh no, it's always true. Deadline's accurate.
Not fake
Deadline's
news?
really accurate.
Oh,
They
painful.
always know stuff before you know it.
Yeah. Painfully.
Hey, you think your sitcom's not getting picked up? What does Deadline say?
Yeah.
They know.
Yeah. It is weird.
It's weird. I don't know if it's weird or if they just have spies everywhere.
Maybe the
listening to
weird
everything.
part is how wrong everyone else gets it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the weird.
No, they know what they're talking about.
Because if they could know,
They've never been wrong with me.
Really?
Anytime they ever have published something on Deadline, it's like, look who's about to get dog shit thrown at his head. Then it happens 1 second later. Like, wow.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Well, I am actually
Mm-hmm.
curious about the writing process of a novel.
Yeah.
because I've Proud member of the Writers Guild since '87. I love writing. The one time I was asked to adapt a screenplay or thought, will you think about turning the screenplay into a novel? And trying, I realized I am not at all adept at the blow it up, make it more flowery, take your time process.
Right.
Did you study others? Have you always been a great reader of novels?
No, I'm a terrible reader.
Well, there we go.
Which is interesting.
I'd like to have Sam read us both a novel now.
I've been trying to read the massive Hamilton biography.
Oh, my.
The Jeffrey Turnoff for like two and a half years.
Sure.
I believe Lin-Manuel Miranda read it like on a vacation in like 3 days and then wrote a musical about it in like a couple years.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
But what about straight up fiction, though? I feel that's tough. Easier to read.
It's tough. It's tough. Do you find, since the invention of the phone and stuff, this kind of phone, how much, would you say you're reading? My reading has dropped off since the telephone by like 85%.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
and in
terrible.
fact,
terrible.
I instantly feel guilty when I read for pleasure that I'm not writing myself.
Can you go to the bathroom without the cell phone?
I'd prefer not to.
I'd prefer not to, too. I'm sure it's physically possible, but I'm just not going to do it.
I'll send something.
Oh, no, it's definitely physically possible. I mean, I went to Boy Scout camp. We would just go out and poop in the woods, just all alone.
Yeah. Maybe my new favorite thing is when I send something via the phone, text, photo, what have you, research to my better half, and her reply is, "Are you on the toilet?"
Why does she have to ask?
She knows.
Yeah.
It's not really a question.
No.
It's
when someone suddenly likes like 3 Instagram photos of yours in a row, they pooping. They pooping.
They've taken a moment.
Yeah.
Well, it is.
Hey, thanks for liking all my photos. And now I can just picture you squeezing one out.
How much longer is the average visit into the sitting position?
Oh, since internet?
In that room, since the phone. That's it has to.
I think it goes 85%. So we read 85% less. We poop 85% longer.
Yeah.
And yet we're creating the same amount of poop, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
But so when you sat down finally after challenging yourself,
the novel,
decades ago,
yeah,
when you were inspired by other
this was what was tough
Adams.
for me. What was tough for me was something that I felt was worthy, because a novel is just going to stick around forever. You know, and I was like, is there something, a subject matter that's so big and so fun that I could commit to, like, this will be the book.
Right.
You know? And when I thought about just the sort of procedural stuff of leprechauns, and, you know, they're stealing booze. They're doing small, mostly petty crimes.
Yeah. But this is a division within a police department?
It's a division within the Irish National Police, which is just called the Garda.
Okay.
So it's the division that just deals with when leprechauns and fairy folks, which is also like clericons, who are a little bit taller, fair de rigs.
Brownies?
There's no brownies in it. What's a brownie?
Brownie is what Rick Overton and I portrayed in the film Willow.
Oh, of course, Willow. I forgot you're in the picture.
This way!
Willow.
No, this way!
That's the only time I'm
Willow.
recognized from that movie.
Of course.
Is when I make that screaming sound.
So
no brownies.
yeah, so it's no, and so basically they sometimes go into the world of the leprechauns, which is just really, the leprechauns are hard drinking people.
And where are they in terms of dimension?
They basically are in a dimension that has many gates into the human Republic of Ireland.
Fantastic.
Yeah, but they have a couple. There's a lot of different leprechaun cities. One is called Knogbottom,
That's right.
which is the big theater district. Leprechauns. You'll see in the book that
They're big
leprechauns,
theater fans.
they live for thousands of years.
Sure.
So they've gotten into a very certain kind of sad musical they enjoy.
Thousands of years.
That's basically like 5 to 7 days long. They love long musicals.
So Nicholas Nickleby is a
Yeah.
joke to
They
them.
want some long sad musicals, and then they hate unicorns, and they just want to eat unicorn meat. There's a lot of it's.
I can't blame them.
Yeah.
Right. So when you decide to face plant dive into
The novel.
a world that you get to
This has been fun.
completely make up.
Yeah.
So you're limited by your own imagination. And are you sort of challenging yourself on a daily basis in terms of expanding
Yes.
that universe?
Not only that. Well, one thing that I did early on, which was very helpful, is I started writing the book, and I started looking at I was looking at a map of Ireland a lot. And then I drew for myself, I flipped Ireland over backwards, and I drew a map of a bunch of different towns that could exist in this leprechaun world. One's the big theater district.
Yep.
Knockbottom. One's Ophir Town, which is like just the business capital. They have different time zones, and one's always snowing in one. It's always
What is the big industry, business-wise?
gold.
Sure.
Counting of gold and shoes. Shoemaking and gold counting.
Right.
But mostly so I drew a map of all these different towns, and that was really fun.
Yeah. You're actually drawing?
I really
this
drew
map?
it. Yeah, it's not amazing. In the book, I did one that's been replaced by John Hendricks, who's a genius
Made you look
artist.
good. Sure.
And it makes my idea of the map look really good. But it was great to sit, and actually now, as I'm writing the second novel, I did like a really large, almost poster-sized version of the map that I can look at
Yeah.
while I'm writing. And that, I've always loved, I love every time you open a book with a map in the front. It just feels like Treasure Island or
Yes.
something. It feels like, oh, something's going to happen that I need to know this, you know?
I think The Hobbit had something.
Absolutely. Oh, he drew those, I believe.
Oh, wow.
I think Tolkien drew all those maps.
Oh, wow. So now you get that.
Yeah, it's really been fun. But it's been, the challenge was always like, is it weird enough? Is it interesting enough? You know? And I'm really, really happy with it. It turned out really well.
Do you have a regiment?
Writing-wise, I do. The general rule is you should be writing instead of whatever else you're doing. Get out of the junk drawer. It doesn't matter that the batteries are loose.
Right, but do you make appointments for yourself that today I'll be writing from 10 to 6?
No, I can't do that. Generally, I'll write. I find during the daytime, there's just always something.
Yeah.
There's
Wait till
either-
everyone goes to sleep? Is that what you're
I
doing?
usually wait till everybody goes to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I've had like 1-2 glasses of red wine, and then the funny thoughts start to bubble up like the tar
see.
pits. Just yeah.
That's
then-
great, though.
Well, I'll write in the evenings, and then also like on weekends, I'll just take an entire day and just say yeah. But I find when the world is open for business and phone calls are happening, it's really hard to get all of your brain into something, especially like screenplays and novels and poems and things.
In a fantasy world.
There's just this looming. I love when the world has gone to bed.
Yeah.
And just, you know, I believe someone said even if your phone is just like close to you, you get dumber. Like they've tested people to like see how many questions they can answer about something, and if their phone's not there, they can answer more of them.
Oh,
but then the
I don't doubt
closer the
that.
phone gets, like the dumber they get, just because part of their brain's always just like, what's the phone? When the phone's gonna?
Yeah.
Hey, I wonder if somebody's texting me. Hey, I wonder what that.
Or
Let's go
even,
see.
I need information. I'd like information about something, and then reaching for the phone as
Right.
opposed to your memory.
Trying to think of it.
Yeah.
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 Right.
It used to be interesting to have that conversation with someone where
Oh, we used to debate things for years because you didn't know the answer. We didn't know the answer to stuff. One of us is going to go down to the library and get the microfiche.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I'm going to look up a New York Times article from 14 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to take a year might seem like a long time to some people, but to me it seems like a very short time to create and fulfill this task you've given yourself from a long time ago, and now it's actually happening.
You know what was interesting is the writing part's so fast. Like the first draft of that book flew. Then an editor came on.
Give me an
board.
actual time period.
Okay,
when you
that
say
still
flew.
is like 10 months.
But that is flying.
Yeah, but then an editor comes on, and oh shit, there's so much.
Man, did you fuck up?
I fucked up. No, it's great. It's really great to have somebody else look at and say like, you know what, this just has to be better.
Did you have a fresh eyes go-to person before the
No,
editor?
never. I mean, you know, I've been on movie writing. I have my partner
Ben, sure.
You know, and but
on this?
on book writing, no. So this was really interesting to get like a person who only edits books.
And how were you on those suggestions, dare I say, critiques?
Generally, I'm not great at it.
Sure.
You know,
Because you've had 10 months to fall in love with
everything.
Yeah.
Generally, I'm not great at it, but I think this was good for me being a uninitiated person in the book world.
Sure,
I
of
think
course.
it
But
was
you
good
see
for
the
me to
world.
get my ass kicked a little bit. Yeah. But the bummer is when you get the only thing worse than getting bad notes is getting really great notes.
Right.
Yeah, because then
Yeah.
you just got to do it.
I know you see the world, Tom, but I
Yeah.
don't think you've
I
articulated
was like,
it.
yeah, that's great.
yeah.
What if there's a better twist here? And what if,
Right.
What if so there's, especially with sort of plot stuff, which in my screenwriting stuff, Ben's very strong on plot and structure. And I'm more just sort of the goofball.
Sure.
I've never been quite as strong as he is at structure.
Right. Which for this story of a world you've invented
Yeah.
seems like it needs to be fairly
It does.
move
it has
forward plot-wise.
It has a couple big plot machinations in it now. There's a big mystery that happens and such.
Will you do an audiobook recording at some point, and how's my part?
I will. And can you hear the guy from Willow again one time?
This way! No, this way!
Wow.
I think that
Where do
audition
I-
went well.
I think it went really well.
This way!
Those guys, there are people that sound like that in the book for sure. Yeah.
There better be.
This way!
Yeah.
This way!
And do they all have a version of an Irish lilt?
Yeah, the whole book is, everybody's Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's real. Both my grandparents, my grandfather was born in Ireland in 1902. My grandmother, Mary Crow, was born in Ireland in 1908.
Wow.
And then the other side of my family is McSheehy's, who were Scottish people who were actually brought into Ireland because they were so violent.
They were brought to Ireland.
They were called Gallowglass soldiers, and they were brought into Ireland because they were so unbelievably violent and contrary. And if you've met my mom,
Is that right?
I get it.
She was contrary, was she?
She's contrary still.
Good,
Yeah, better
good.
now. Better now, but pretty contrary.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There's a moment where she mellowed?
Yeah, it's called 10 milligrams of Lexpro every day and assisted living.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll calm your ass right
Oh,
the fuck
yeah.
down.
It's been great. Great for me, too.
Sure.
Yeah.
So how often during the 10 months, were there trips to Ireland, or that had already
No, I started the
happened
book in Ireland, and then,
while you were there?
yeah, I started right then when I was there. I was one of those, I literally sent myself an email. I was standing looking at the wall, and I sent, once in a while, I'll send myself a note.
Oh,
And
that's
I
great.
found the note that I'd sent myself, which just said "Detective of Leprechauns," and which was almost going to be. So there was some version of that was going to be the title. It was originally called Ronan Boyle, Detective of Tirnanog, but now it's got a name. It's the Bridge of Riddles is a very specific detail in the book that I do like.
Oh, good.
So it's been really fun. Right now, I'm in second book itis phase,
And that means?
which is you're like, hey, remember the Spin Doctors, Two Princes? You got your whole life to do your first record.
That's right.
It's your entire life, and then the record comes out. From the first record to the second record, you got 8 months,
Maximum.
pretty much.
Yeah. And you're looking at February of 19 as the release of the first one.
The first book comes out, actually, the exact date is March 5th. So it's 12 days before St. Patrick's Day.
All right.
Yeah. You can pre-order it on everywhere. It's on Amazon. You can already order it on Amazon and
Right.
Barnes & Noble and things. And
Yeah.
that was exciting. The day that I saw there's like a link,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh.
There
And
was
I
a
got
link in the research.
I got an email that said, like, your book's coming on March 6th or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the itis turns into actual
Well,
fingers on keyboard.
it suddenly the hill looks steeper on the second one. You're like, man, the first one was just a lark. I was just like typing like a speed demon. and
Now you have a deadline.
now I have a sharp deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that won't stop you.
No. And deadlines are good for you.
Yeah.
They're just great.
Right.
You will generally get something done if somebody tells you to do it.
Right.
You almost always will. Unless you're a complete nincompoop.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you have had writing discipline for decades.
I do. It's very cathartic for me.
Yeah.
It's like I would do it just for pleasure. If there was nothing.
It could
attached
be
to it.
my favorite thing to do.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's just a delight.
Right.
I even like typing. Like I enjoy I just like typing fast.
And did you learn
If you've
type-
seen some of my movies, you can tell this is just a guy typing fast. There's nothing here.
Man, this guy can type well. Did you learn typing in high school?
I did, and it was a gift. I think the two best things anybody taught me. I've never used
Geometry?
advanced mathematics.
No, you haven't.
I don't really use simple mathematics.
That's what your phone's for.
Yeah, or that's what I don't know. On tips, I do 20%. Yeah, and then I forget it. But I learned typing and
Yeah.
Spanish,
Yes.
and I think with those two things in life, you could go very far.
I
If you can
can-
type and speak Spanish, it's like a superpower.
That's right. It
Two-
is.
yeah.
If you can ask if Juan is in fact in the biblioteca and type it at the same
Yeah,
time.
find out donde he is. Yeah. Yeah, typing's everything. I don't know. Do kids type today? You're blazing over there. You're
Yeah.
typing super fast.
I don't think you have a
but
choice.
you're not hunting pecking.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
typing now with their thumbs on a phone more than they are on a keyboard on a computer.
Right, but that's the real joy. Have you ever, like, after a long day of, like, just typing dumb shit with your thumbs, like, sit down
Oh, buddy.
and type an email to people?
I love it.
Feel-
I much
literally,
prefer.
it feels like the floodgates have opened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still feel like I could easily type without looking.
Oh, sure.
70% as fast as I could at the apex.
Did you learned on a typewriter? Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure. Yeah.
At Oak Park River Forest High School, our typing teacher was also the baseball coach.
Uh-oh.
Because coaches, you had to have some real quote unquote job.
Yeah.
To explain why they were at the school all day, getting
and
paid
let's
more than
face
everybody.
it, typing was one of those classes that was a guaranteed A as long as you paid attention.
And he would just he would blast music. He'd turn the lights on and off. All he would try to do, it was like Karate Kid.
Whoa.
He was like, "I'm going to make you the best typist you've ever seen
Whoa.
with using the power of baseball
IBM
coaching."
Select?
It was something like it.
Yeah.
Something like it. It had an
Sensitivity
The
to
very
the touch?
fancy thing that it had was it had an auto, like,
Return.
there was a correction line built in.
Ooh.
There was a white, so there was the purple ink line,
Yeah.
the black ink line.
Sure.
And then if you had to do a XXX, it would white out with an X
Yeah.
for your mistakes.
Did you see how Tom Hanks loves using an old typewriter so much that he created an app for your phone
That just makes the
that is
sound.
the sensation of typing on a.
The sensation of?
That's what it supposes.
Just
because
the
it has the
sound.
sound and the.
It's just the sound.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about all the things people wrote like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, it
Yeah.
certainly is better than putting pen to pad.
I can't do that.
The longhorn, the longhand thing.
I can't even read. Most of the time, I can't read my own writing, even.
So you could have been a doctor.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Yeah, I always wonder why they never question at the pharmacy. But I'm like, what the? I have no idea what that says. It says 4 birds up.
If I feel
What
like
the
it for
It says nothing. And the guy's there is like, okay, you want these right now? Or you want to wait? And I'm like, that's a word?
I feel like if they read it easily, that's when they would be suspicious.
Yeah, then they know that you did it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, they're like, I'm sorry, Mr. Pollack. This
Sir,
is for sure.
this
yeah.
does not get a pass mustard at all. This hour has flown by, my friend, honestly and truly. Who was the person along the way who said, fuck you, you'll never make it the loudest? Was there a person? Other than
That in your
voice
own
in your
head.
who's there still?
The biggest thing that was my dad always wanted me to get he was like, no matter what you do, I don't care what you do as long as you get a business degree also. Like, you just have to get a business degree also.
and of
You
course,
have to. And I was like, nah, fuck it.
what does that mean?
Well, I just didn't do it, which was great because there was no backup plan.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that is one of the things I definitely insist people understand is
No.
there cannot be a backup plan.
No.
If you're not ready to give your life to this, 100%.
Don't do it.
Please.
It's just annoying.
Please don't do it. You got to need it.
There's a lot of downside.
Yeah, because they're lined up around the block and
Oh,
tell
sure.
you you're
Literally across the street. That's where they do. I think they do. Let's make a deal. Some days I drive my son up to. So here's my favorite: the intersection where Earwolf is. There's a Denny's across the street.
I'll say.
God bless them. A nice restaurant.
Sure.
But the billboard above it is always purchased by either like hepatitis is on the rise or. Did you know how many STDs are lurking in LA? It's always just like a wiener with spots on it. And the poor people at Denny's down below,
They didn't ask for
they're not
that.
affiliated with this billboard above them.
No.
Of it like
It certainly seems that way.
no, but it's like gonorrhea, tidal wave of gonorrhea.
Gonorrhea, we sure do.
Yep.
Oh, buddy. Other than the Maisel program, what are you watching on the TV these days?
What am I watching on the TV these days? I had to get back into the staircase because apparently there's new evidence.
Yeah.
But this is a bummer because all I've done so far is watched up to the first 9 that I'd already seen.
Sure.
So it's been a real journey to get up to where I was.
Yeah.
Very excited for whatever the new evidence is coming up in the staircase murders. But yeah.
Could it be that we knew all along? Yeah, of course he did.
Yeah, of course he did. Literally, the second he started talking, he's like, "Oh, hello. Pardon my traps and my pipe." Yep.
Have you? I always ask people if they've seen this show on Amazon Prime called Patriot.
No.
Oh, buddy, please.
It's good?
Beg you.
Yeah. I got Amazon Prime. Look at me.
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, how else are you going to watch the Maisel program?
Of course. Which I'm about to catch up on.
Okay, good.
Who are you on that?
Have people, well, listen, I'm on a show that people either say, oh my God, it's the greatest thing ever, or everyone keeps yelling at me to watch your show. That's the new thing.
Right.
When people are getting yelled at by their friends, you've got to see this show.
Right. That's what I enjoy a show that people are yelling at me.
Yeah, so Patriot, I'm going to yell
Here's
at
one
you.
that I've had a real rough time with, and I'll
Please.
just tell you this, which is, I don't know who does the audio recordings for The Handmaid's Tale.
Oh.
But it has somehow become the single quietest television show in the history of human civilization.
Right.
And
You find
the first
yourself getting
season,
closer to
the first season was quiet.
Yeah.
And I know I'm an older gentleman.
Sure.
But the second season, everybody's just I had put on the dang subtitles for it. Beautifully acted. I think I can't hear you guys.
Yeah, no idea.
I literally can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm impressed with how I can't hear you.
I think this is a new thing on TV.
Right.
Super quiet acting. People weren't this quiet. People used to be, they'd come in and be like, I'm the Lone Ranger.
Yeah, you've
And
seen William Shatner.
Yeah.
There's nothing quiet about that.
everybody on TV is just this.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because everybody's wants to watch shows where when the kids are asleep, it doesn't matter.
Ooh.
They're not going to wake up.
Or they think you're wearing earbuds.
Yeah.
Right? All right. This is the portion of the show called Ask Kevin. You're allowed to ask me any question. It could be sincere, silly, or neither.
Let's see.
Sure.
What's the biggest royalty check you ever got for appearing in a film?
A film.
Oh, wait. So the TV thing was way different.
Well,
was way better.
I hadn't spent any real time in TV until about 3 years ago when I got drafted onto the show Mom.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
ended
Okay.
up doing
Yep.
like 15 episodes of that. But just reoccurring money.
Yeah.
Those checks that have just started rolling in because they just sold the hell out of that show
Right.
are weirdly big.
Really?
Yeah, and
Like with a comma.
there are commas.
Commas.
No,
What?
No, there's only one.
No, there's one.
But there's one.
But are
yeah.
we're in
So
the
a
tens?
movie-
We're in the thousands column? We're not in the tens of thousands column.
No, it's definitely still only 5 figures, but
that's great.
but it's 4 figures would have been fine as a check I wasn't counting on.
For something that you forgot about that was just for free.
I thought
But
I got paid
That
already.
show's syndicated.
But
too.
yeah,
when
so
the show's
so
syndicated.
movies will surprise you also,
Right.
because it seems like they're too readily available on platforms that don't pay that.
Anything.
Right.
Oh, my whole career is just stream it for nothing.
Yeah.
You don't even have to watch ads, I don't think, for
Yeah.
most of it.
So every now and
Yeah.
then, some movie will cough up impressive,
A great one.
5 figures, to
Right.
the point of what is happening.
Oh, that's great.
How can that be? I don't
Yeah.
remember making that much when
Right.
I did the film.
The best one I ever got was I got Johnny Galecki and I got cut out of the movie Hancock before it even started filming.
Sure.
So we'd been cast as these two characters who had this great scene where we're pinching Hancock to put a Nike swoop on the moon, which was all so great. And it was really funny, and they were just like these obnoxious characters, these advertising guys.
Right.
But it was like a set piece in the middle of the movie. Show up on set. Pete Berg, the director, has no idea why we're there.
Nope.
Starts giving lines to all the extras around the scene. He's like, "Oh, you got to look out the window, and the window's going to blow out." And I turned to the one of the producers, and I was like, "What happened to our characters? Me and Johnny have this big scene." He's like, "Oh my God, we cut that. We forgot to tell you."
Really? You forgot to tell?
They forgot
Because we're in wardrobe.
Big movies. Sometimes they're so big, it's like an aircraft carrier. You can't stop it.
Right.
Yeah.
And-
But one of my best royalty checks ever.
But then a giant check came in for something
check.
you didn't actually shoot.
Oh no! I at one point I say, "Hancock, you owe me a phone call," and the
okay.
whole picture Hancock. But it was like probably my best royalty check of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great question, and it had not been asked. So thank you for that.
Sure.
Are there any other projects you want to?
No, pre-order the book if you can pre-order the book.
Do pre-order the book. Tell us the name again.
It's called Ronan Boyle and the Bridge of Riddles.
That's correct. Now it's time for Kevin's pop quiz. Between 5 and 15 points possible for each of the 3 questions. Once the final score is tabulated, it'll be posted on our website along with the current standing of the top 100. Are you ready?
People play along at home? Mm-hmm. Or I'm playing?
You're playing now.
I'm playing now. Great.
Question number 1. Keith David or David Keith?
Keith David.
That's correct. Question 2. Carl Weathers or the weather in Carlsbad?
Carl Weathers.
Also correct. Final question. Steve?
No.
Yo, that's 3 out of 3. A perfect score.
I don't know how I got that last one. That was a real fadeaway at the buzzer foul.
Yes, it was.
It was something to do with if you could see your eyes when you.
Oh, thank you so much for pulling that victory out.
I felt like
in the grasp of the Dragons found.
Always a pleasure, sir.
Thank you, pal. I can't wait to pre-order the book on the way home on my phone while I'm driving.
I'm going to go get gonorrhea at the Denny's across the street. Not related.
Nope.
Not related to the
Not
restaurant.
affiliated in any way.
Just happens to be what the sign says up right above it.
Honestly and truly, thank you so much. And for those of you still with us, I want to thank Sam, everyone's favorite engineer here at the Earwolf Studios.
My pleasure.
I think that's mostly true, Sam. And then everyone else, Matt and here at Earwolf and Corey Levin in post-production. Until next time, and as always, get out of my face.